There it is. Welcome back. It's Friday. It's workshop day 5. We're doing a behind the scenes interview with one of my favorite humans. This is a client of mine and a coach, a fellow coach. She's going to talk to us about her success, how she made $17,500 in 30 days. She's had multiple months, 10K plus months, but also she's created an amazing business. Her clients love her and she's having fun doing it. So we're going to be doing a behind the scenes interview today. Welcome back. You made it to session 5. Thrilled to have you back. We have an amazing session in store for you today. Get ready to take some notes. Our guest is incredible coach Kristen Staver. She's a client who's going to be sharing her journey and her success with us. One other reminder, because I get excited to do these too, at the end of this session tonight, we will be announcing the winner. So the next drawing winner of what I consider to be one of the best prizes so far. Kristen can probably vouch for this once I bring her on camera. I'm going to be announcing the winner of the Full Focus Planner. So no, I'm not like a representative for these guys, but I should be because I'm always talking them up. I feel like it's kind of like the golden standard of planners. I use this planner. The reason I like this planner, it's got a whole video training series that comes with the planner, and it's also holistic. It helps you look at the big picture as you're planning things out, and it helps you back up, your annual goals to your quarterly, to your monthly, weekly, daily. So it's a great planner. We're going to be announcing that winner tonight at the end of the session. I want to say also quick congratulations to all of our workshop corporate to coach renegades, and some of you who aren't in corporate, but you are coaches who have already booked discovery calls with us. We are so excited to connect with you. Remember, the discovery calls are for us to learn more about you, for you to learn about us, for us to learn about your business goals, for us to answer any questions you have for us. This is a no pressure exploratory call so we can meet each other, right? Have a little face-to-face action, and you get to learn more about the Corporate to Six-Figure Coach Academy, and we can see if we are a fit. And then from there, just review the different package options and pricing options with you. As a reminder, the first 5 people, only the first 5 people who schedule a discovery call and join the academy are going to get the bonus of 2 private 60-minute deep dive calls. So there's going to be 1 private 60-minute deep dive strategy call with me, where I'm going to roll up my sleeves. I'm going to get it all up in your business, and you're going to leave that session with a comprehensive strategy and a customized strategy on where I want you to focus first to hit your first financial milestone that's valued at $1,500. You'll also receive a private 60-minute deep dive training session with our social selling expert. She's going to teach you how to effectively outreach to cold prospects that lead to sales. But here's the coolest part about that bonus. She's not just handing you a script. And I told you guys this, so please do write this down. I told you guys this earlier in the week. If you don't learn how to social sell, this is a form of outreach. It is not cold calling. It's a form of outreach where you build relationships with other humans. If you do not learn how to social sell, it's going to be a challenge, right? So not only will you have a private session with the social selling expert who's going to give you a script, she's going to customize the script to your niche. That's wild. So that's huge. I valued it at 600, but like I told you guys last time, I got to up the value on that because that is such a big deal. I haven't seen that offered anywhere else. So although we have discovery sessions being booked coming in, the reminder is only the first 5 people to join the academy are going to get that particular bonus, the 2 private sessions. Every workshop, those 5 sessions tend to go quickly. I remember we had one workshop where 13 people joined. So the first 5 at minimum, if you're like, I don't know, I'm not sure. That's the point of the discovery call, right? Is for you to learn more about what is entailed in the academy, packages, pricing, etc. So if you're on kind of the edge, that's the point of the call. for you to leave informed. You don't want to leave the workshop uninformed. Like, I don't know what to do next. You want to leave informed. So here it is real quick before I bring the lovely Kristen on. And Tabitha's putting a couple links in the chat. Thank you, Tabitha, for people to book their call. So go ahead and book your call now. If you're one of those people that is busy and busy bee might forget, you have to book the call by Tuesday of this upcoming week. So got a couple days left here, Tuesday, to get the fast acting bonus bundle up to $8,600 worth of bonuses. So if you pay in monthly installments, it's $1,000 off. If you pay in full, it's $3,000 off. I told you about bonus 2, the first 5 people getting the private sessions. Bonus 3 is a social media profile audit by yours truly, valued at $500. Bonus 4 is like, I call it coach in your pocket. It's 30-day Voxer access to moi, so you can ask any and all questions and receive feedback and direction on your business, valued at $2,000. And once again, if you pay in full, you'll get a ticket to a virtual half-a-day live cash injection workshop with me for a fast ROI, valued at $1,000. So we're going to talk through cash injection so you can get that ROI quickly. So just a reminder here, but in order to even be in the running, you got to book your call. Party people, you got to book your call. All right, just checking the chat here. Carrie says, happy Friday. Enjoying the pool this weekend if the weather is nice. That sounds lovely. I agree with Tabitha. That sounds lovely. Lisa's going to step class in Unity Church. I love it. Doing it for the spirit, the soul, and the physical. And I'm sure also, right, it goes hand in hand with mental and emotional and all those other good things. So taking care of all the quadrants. I love it, Lisa. All right, so let's jump in here. Is there anything else I had to tell you guys? I did tell you guys yesterday, for those of you that were on the call, a couple other things that are included in the program, the in-person event. So we're having an in-person event where you'll be able to network, where you'll be able to get hot seat coached by me, where you'll be able to learn. I'll be doing some training. And also, if you opt for it, there is a website build included in the academy. So these are some of our differentiators, right? It's not really the norm to hire a business coach and also get a website. So we worked really hard on all of these goodies for y'all. But that's it. We can't wait to help you cross the bridge from where you're at to coaching. Not only to, make money, of course, we want to make money, stand up a 6-figure coaching business, but also to achieve the things that matter to you, right? Having the freedom of running your own business. If you have any questions, concerns, curiosities about the academy, book the discovery call. That's the whole point of the discovery call. Quick reminder of upcoming training sessions. After today, over the weekend, we have 2 training sessions. Saturday, so write this down. Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be doing hot seat coaching, rapid fire Q&A. So anybody that has asked a question yet, and please continue to chuck questions at me in the Zoom chat, in the Facebook group, DM your concierge, DM me, whatever it is, we're going to go down and cover them all on Saturday. And even if you haven't asked a question, I guarantee you're going to learn a ton just from hearing me coach other people. So that's going to be good. And if you should choose, depending on the question, I can, invite you to come off mute and give you some coaching. And I don't care, it doesn't have to be to do with the workshop. It can be about your niche, anything that you're struggling with as it relates to your coaching business. Sunday, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, we're going to cover the 5 mistakes that I see coaches make that prevent them from building that 6-figure coaching business. So I see it time and time again, the 5 things that get in the way, and I want you to learn from those mistakes. So I'll be covering that on Sunday. Super excited to announce. So now I'm going to officially announce this. I am adding on 2 final bonus sessions. So after this weekend, you're going to get 2 additional sessions. These are bonus sessions. So write this down. Monday, 4 p.m. Pacific. So during the week, we go back to the evenings. 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to do another behind the scenes coach interview. So another client of mine, a coach, is going to come on, and she's going to talk about her experience, her success, her hurdles, her challenges, her success, her wins, what worked for her. You can ask her any questions you want. So it's just going to be another perspective. I'll be bringing her in Monday night. Bring your questions. And then Tuesday is our final bonus day, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Write this down in your workbook. It's the last day of the launch, right? It's the last day of the workshop. And again, I've told you guys this before. You guys know this as coaches. I'm preaching to the choir. I can give you the best blueprint in the world on, what we've been talking about this week, client acquisition. But if the mindset is all over the place, oh, I could never price my package like that. I'll never make it as a coach. I could never, whatever it is, it ain't going to work. So we're going to be talking about on Tuesday evening how to master the mindset to transition into a coaching business. That mindset has to align with the blueprint, the strategy. So I've been told that's a session favorite. So that's it. Again, stay tuned for the end of this session where I announce the winner of the Full Focus Planner, the golden standard of planners. A planner so fancy it has its own set of training videos on how to use it. You have to be here to get the prize. So stay till the end. And if you're here, you get the prize. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to this incredible, this dynamic, this brilliant former client of mine, Coach Kristen Staver. Bring her on. Bring her on. Let's get some confetti for Kristen.
I wish I had that. I don't have a Mac, so I can't. I mean, I can do this.
Is that what it is? Yeah. See, the dancing is just as good. See, I need to be able to hit like music, and we can both kind of bust.
Oh yeah.
How are you? How are
you?
I'm
great. Thank you. I'm so
gosh.
happy to be here. How are you?
I am so good. I mean, I just can't stop smiling when I see you. I'm like, there she is. I miss this lady.
I miss you too.
Yeah, I'm so happy to have you here with us. Thanks for taking the time to share your story with these guys and, just make yourself available for questions on how you did, what you did, and your journey and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Welcome.
Thank you.
All right, guys, as I ask Kristen questions, like I said, if something comes up where you're like, oh, I got a good question, go ahead and drop it in the chat. Drop your questions in the chat and we'll kind of go back and forth. So Kristen, we've got a lot of coaches who are here on Zoom live, who are also going to be seeing the recording of this video in our Facebook group of over 3,000 people, some people that are going to see the replay in the email. So all these different people watching this interview, and these are coaches that are watching, they're kind of on the cusp, a lot of them. I mean, everybody's in a different spot, but a lot of them are on the cusp of, making that transition into coaching. So maybe let's start with, I know one of the things we talked about, even though this workshop is focused on client acquisition, maybe if you could share with these guys your coaching title and your niche.
Yeah, so I am a business coach, and my niche is moms who want to launch and grow a successful coaching business. So they have the freedom, flexibility, and fulfilling career that they love. And most of the women I work with are 0 to 3 years into their business.
Cool. Yeah, I love that. And you guys will notice, I know a lot of people get nervous, like, oh, I want to be whatever it is, fill in the blank type of niche. And they're like, oh, there's too many other people out there doing that. That's why it's important to get specific with the type of people you're helping. And I love your niche, Kristen, of focusing in on specifically moms who are building a coaching business. So it's a really, really cool target market. Let's talk about what inspired you to, wake up one day and say, I'm going to become a coach. I'm going to build a coaching business, and this is going to be my focus. What inspired you to do that?
I think I've always had a natural ability and always wanted to help people find their best, whatever it was. And so whether it was doing career coaching or helping people start businesses, it was just something that I kind of did. And then was on the phone with a friend one day. She wanted to start a business. She was a mom trying to get her footing. She didn't have a lot of confidence about doing it. And I just started asking her some questions. 30 minutes into the call, I was telling her all the steps she needed to take to get it up and running and what to be thinking about. And then we just started connecting on a weekly basis. And I was giving her steps to the next step and coaching her on what she was doing. And I remember there was a moment in a call where I literally felt this vibration of, I love this. This is what I want to do. This is so fulfilling to me. And I was
Yeah.
watching her create something that she dreamed about and talked about for a really long time. And then she launched this very successful online resale business. And that was the moment that everything turned for me. I thought, this is what I want to do for as long as I can possibly do it.
I love it so much. So again, I just want to kind of, as you're sharing with us, Kristen, call out for these guys a couple pieces of what you shared that I think are especially important for these guys to jot down and on page 14 of their workbook. So I'm hearing Kristen talk about one, it sounds like, and keep me honest here, Kristen, it sounds like one thing is, in a way, your niche kind of found you. You were just on the phone with a friend. She's like, oh, I'm struggling building this business. And people were coming to you already with this problem, seeking you out. So that's number one. And number two, I also liked what you said about, how you felt when you were on those calls. And so I would say, to everybody on the Zoom call, because some people are like, hey, maybe I haven't landed the plane with my niche yet. And that's okay. By all means, you can test coaching a couple different areas. But what Kristen said about notice how you feel when you, and in two different ways, I would say too, notice how you feel when you see on the calendar, oh, I'm coaching this person on this topic. Are you dreading it? Or are you like, oh, I can't wait? And then notice how you feel when you're on the call and when you get off the call. Like, do you have the goosebumps? Are you like, oh, that was so good. I love talking about this. I love coaching. Or are you like, oh, I feel depleted, exhausted.
Yeah.
Does that sound right, Kristen?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it fuels. And when that happens and people have that experience, it's incredibly fulfilling and inspiring to continue to move forward. Because, being a coach and having a coaching business can be a roller coaster ride. So having that satisfaction in those experiences really helps fuel, and remembering, and you've talked this week about this, I've heard you, getting connected to your why and remembering why we're doing what we're doing so that we can stay focused and on track when things get a little bumpy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Amen.
So powerful.
Amen. Yeah. That why is, I like to talk about, we got to hold it and lock it in our pocket. And, you can't just expect the entrepreneurial journey to be just like riding a unicorn through a golden field. Like it's a roller coaster. I tell people, buckle up, but it's the best roller coaster ride you've ever been on. And when it gets to a part where it feels scary or tough, that's when you got to anchor to the why, because it's bigger than us.
That's right.
I'm going to jump to the chat. We've got some questions for you, Kristen. So Carrie asked, did you start with that niche or did it evolve to that from where you initially started? Good question.
That's a good question, Carrie. It did. It has evolved even since then. In the work that I did with Betty and have done, I honed it down even more. Initially, it was working with women who were in career transition or wanted to start a business. And then the further I got into that, I focused on the business. And then I was working with and involved with a lot of coaches in some of the trainings and groups I was in. And I was just watching how coaches were struggling to get their businesses started. And the focus with moms and how much harder it is to spread ourselves so thin, especially if we're in careers and trying to navigate getting a business started. So I really thought this is where I can shine. And this is where my experience is figuring out how to navigate having a family and launching a business at the same time. So it has shifted, but a lot of that work was done with Betty, because I did not have that clarity prior to working with her and really narrowing down that niche. And that's made a huge difference for me in my business.
Yeah, that's a really great point. And I do hear a lot of coaches that uh, come to me that are business coaches, but the target market is vague. And so yeah, I think, no matter how you want to narrow it down, the who is going to make a world of difference because there's so many different types of businesses out there. Is it an in-person business? Is it a virtual business? Is it a solopreneur? Is it a, Fortune 500? So yeah, absolutely. And like Kristen said, she's taking from her own experience, juggling being a mom and building a business. That's another ball game. So really, really good question, Carrie. Lisa says, did you know where to find ideal client avatars or clients? So, Kristen, that was one of the topics we talked about earlier this week, where to find ideal client avatars. So for you, what's that looked like, Kristen?
Well, I know this will sound, I'm not cheesy, but I found the people through your training, like finding the places to go to find the groups with women in them. And I was not a huge social media person before I worked with Betty.
Yeah.
It's not my strength. It's not my passion, but we really worked together to establish the places where I could go and then how I could feel comfortable in those places and show up to those places. So yes, I was able to find people not only in social media, but also in groups locally and then nationally. And Zoom has just been instrumental in helping me build my network that way. But the more that we narrow these niches down and the work that I've done with you, Betty, in getting clear about where those people are and how to find them saves me so much time. And then doing the research with the ICAs and recognizing the language to use that resonates with them and talking about their hopes and dreams and their pain is such an instrumental part of what you do to help lay the foundation so that it's easier to find those people and then to reach them with the right messages that speak to what they need to hear.
That's so key, Kristen, too, because if people are, for example, using social media to try to find clients or ideal client avatars, but their messaging is off, nobody's going to raise their hand.
Right.
So you got to be describing the who and the urgent problem in a way that it clicks, because you may have a niche, but you have to. That's a really good point, Kristen. And I'm just curious too, when you said locally, because Lisa was talking to us about how that's been a struggle for her. When you said locally, what did that look like for you?
So I joined women's groups in the area, and what I have found for myself and what I tell my clients to do is find an area that's related to your niche, like where your niche hangs out, at least one of those. And that, so I have some networking groups locally. They're women to women networking and business building groups, entrepreneurial groups for women. And then I also have a couple of groups that are just groups I'm curious about and that are passions of mine. So there's a local hiking group that gets together and goes on hikes. And so it's not related to my business, but it's women going on hikes together, and it's just building relationships that way. And it's amazing. I just went to a meeting last night, and I had met a woman at this group 2 weeks ago, and she said to me last night, I've got a friend I really want you to meet. She's a new coach. She just got her certification. And I want the three of us to sit down together and have coffee. And it's happening because I've showed up to these networking events. We've had 4 of them in the last few weeks. They've just been so much fun for me. And she and I have had great communication, and we've built a little bit of a relationship. And so we've established some trust. And so now she's going to introduce me to a friend of hers.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing about you, Kristen, when I see, what great success that you've had in your business, how do I put this? You just approach things with open arms, just kind of like, I'm not going to sit here and have expectations that, whatever event I'm going to in person or online has to have XYZ, but I'm showing up with open arms. I'm showing up to serve. I'm showing up to build relationships, and let's see what comes out of that. And to your point, right? A hiking group, some people might say, well, what does that have to do? Well, look, now she's going to these events and somebody said, because her niche is so specific, I know somebody like that I can introduce you to.
Yeah.
So really important. And again, even if you guys can get one or two ideal client avatars, part of the survey is, where do you hang out? Where do you hang out in person? Where do you hang out online? And then who else can you introduce me to? You
Right.
find one ICA and that can be a ball rolling. So really good question. Really good question. So Maria says, it sounds like there was a bit of mentoring as well as coaching. How did you transition to fully coaching?
Mentoring in relationship to like how I was working with my clients, I think, is that the question? Like consulting versus coaching? I just want to make sure I answer
Yeah,
it.
and Maria, feel free to come off mute or put into the chat if you want to clarify. I could take a guess, but I want to give Maria the chance to come off mute or put in the chat to clarify. I'm thinking, and I'll stop if she interrupts me here, which I welcome you to do, Maria. I'm thinking when you were talking to your friend over the phone who was struggling, there was some mentoring as far as like, oh, you're struggling with your business. Here, try this, try that. Maria says yes.
Yes.
So it's like, yeah, the difference between coaching, mentoring, consulting, mixture, like
Yeah.
how did that look?
Yeah. So I will say something that I'm not supposed to say in the coaching world, but it's true. And that is, as a coach, people hire me. I've been an entrepreneur for 22 years. So people hire me for my expertise and my experience in the field of building businesses. And if I was just coaching where I was asking questions and having people uncover like their own thoughts and their own brains around what they're doing and just mindset, there's a certain level of expectation in regards to, but I want you to help me make this path easier because you have a lot of knowledge and experience in this area. So that's part of what people hire me for. So yes, I would say on any given coaching call, there it can be like a 50-50 exchange. Other times I just got off a call with a client today, and it was 80% coaching on her mindset because she's stuck and she wants to go and make YouTube videos, but she's feeling like they're not perfect yet and she doesn't know how to present them perfectly. So we spent 80% of the time talking about what she's making that mean for her and how that's holding her back. And then the next time we'll get on and we'll talk about how do you really market that effectively and what's your message when you show up to YouTube. So that's such a great question. But when you get your coaching certifications, they just say, no, your job is to just be there and support and answer questions, but not tell people what to do, let them
Yeah.
uncover it for themselves. That's not
Yeah.
my experience.
Yeah. No, and we're keeping it real here. And I love the way Kristen answered that too. I kind of think about coach certification. This is like a weird analogy. Maybe it only makes sense to me, but I think about like the Karate Kid and Mr. Miyagi and like the wax on, wax off. Like they're very strict in how the coach certifications, like this is what it means to be a coach, and a little hand slap if you start to recommend things. But that makes sense because we're honing that skill. Now, when you bring it into the business you're creating, of course, it depends on the niche. The business niche, there are a lot of times where we're saying, look, this is the metrics you need to hit. This is what's worked in the past. So I joke with Kristen, I like to call myself, and I think this is Kristen as well, a coach sultant, a coach sultant, because and by the way, so Maria, I mean, I will, and Kristen probably does the same. I will market that to people. I'm a coach sultant. I don't try to hide it like it's a dirty secret. Some people are straight up coach. Some people are straight up consultants. Kristen and I are coach sultants. And I like to talk about, there's like a trajectory, right? One end is total coach, one end is total consultant. And, we all fall, but Kristen and I, for example, fall somewhere on that spectrum. Like I think for me, maybe for you, I don't know. I don't want to speak for you, Kristen, but I tend to tell people I lean a little bit more on the consultant side. But yeah, to Kristen's point, what's cool is to have the coaching skills and the consulting skills as well. And the way that, and Kristen, keep me honest here, like if you've ever done this, but sometimes a client will say something or ask something, and when I can tell that it could go either way, consultant or coach, I'll just say, do you want me to answer? Do you want me to respond as a coach or a consultant?
Mhm.
Sometimes I'll just ask
Yeah.
because I could go either way.
Mhm.
Um, and I love what Kristen said it too about, yeah, some of her sessions are pure mindset. And then the next time she gets into strategy. So yeah, there's no harm in doing that. So good question. Okay, so let's go on here. What else did I want to ask you here? This workshop is all about client acquisition. So maybe we kind of talked about this a little bit, but like we said, you $17,500 month. You've had, I know firsthand, you've had a plethora of months where you've really killed it. Do you have any kind of high level tips for these guys on what specific client attraction methods have been working for you that you're like, yeah, that's really a good one?
I mean, yes, there's lots of good ones. I think the biggest thing that I've learned from you and watching you, because you walk your talk, is showing up consistently and offering value in a way that clients or people will be paying attention. You won't know that they're paying attention, but you just keep showing up consistently. And you are phenomenal at that, Betty. The way that
Thank
you
you.
show up consistently and you do your live trainings and you provide this sort of value for people to come and attend for a week and just learn and deep dive into coaching and see what it would be like. I think that's a huge part of it. And I think, this is one that I'm not sure a lot of people have talked about, but the carrot dangle. Have you spoken very much about your
I
carrot
haven't,
dangle?
but go ahead.
So there's Betty teaches this concept of it's like an introductory offer of what it would be like to work with you as a coach. And it's a concept that I'd never thought of. And Betty taught me how to do that, how to set it up, how to do the marketing, how to launch it, and then how to utilize it as a tool for attracting clients, not only to have a session with me, but then beyond that to sign. And it was a life changer, a game changer in my business. And the first few times that I did it, it was kind of like a practice. And I think you talked, it was yesterday, about doing the research and the interviews and offering the free calls, and then the transitioning into potentially talking about working together in the long run. And that's part of the opportunity of the carrot dangle is, so for mine, it's a business audit or a launch plan. And we just go through, it's a 90-minute session. And then at the end, the last few 20 minutes, I talk about my program and how we could continue to work together if it's a good fit for them. And it's a very smooth, comfortable transition. It's not salesy. Betty did such a phenomenal job. You did such a great job with talking about how to lay that out in a way that provides value and it's not uncomfortable or icky as a conversation. And I think so many coaches are nervous about that part.
Yeah.
But the first few that I did, I had 2 clients sign with me like that. And it was amazing. And I think that was one of the most powerful tools. And to this day, it's still one of the most powerful tools that I have had and that I've used. And then finding the ways to make Facebook work for me as a client attraction system. And Betty, you did a great job of working with me around my stuff in regards to social media
Yeah.
and still having it be effective.
Yeah.
And I
Love
think
that.
that the way that you coach and the examples that you show people and the different options that people have based on their schedules, what they're passionate about, and where they want to put their time and their energy in their businesses, there are different ways to do that and I appreciated having the options to do that. And so making Facebook work for me was a huge part of that client attraction system. And then the other is, and this is probably as big, if not bigger, is working through the methodology and the signature program and what my offer was going to be and having that built out, because it gave me the confidence to show up in a room.
Yeah.
And when people said to me, "What do you do?" I say, "I'm a business coach and I help moms." And then I go through and talk about it. And as people start answering or asking me questions, I could speak specifically into the journey of what they could expect in working with me. And not only that, but what the results were going to be from that journey. And that's something I did not have before we worked together. And that having the confidence is what has changed me showing up into those rooms, either on Zoom or in person, and being able to talk and build my network from a completely different place. And I owe all of that to you and how you taught me how to do that.
Well, you're giving me the chills. So I know when I get the goosebumps, that's a powerful thing. Yeah, I mean, thank you. But Kristen, I want to make a disclaimer to you guys watching. She's an ideal client avatar. Why? She shows up. She takes action. She embraces imperfect action. And she's talking about consistency. She also pushed for consistency. So I mean, again, I know that's coachy to say, then show up, show up. And you're like, what does that even mean? It means
So
you
true.
show up to the calls and you show up in between the calls, she does the work. So yeah, again, just to reiterate what Kristen's saying, you guys taking notes, what helped her to attract clients? Showing up consistently, providing value. And again, like she said, this is something I teach. Well, how do you provide value to people out there who aren't paying? And what's the difference between providing value to the people out there who aren't your clients versus the people who are your clients? But you got to provide value before you can expect them to just say, hey, yeah, just go, let me be your client. And then, yeah, a lot of what Kristen was discussing with you guys, carrot dangle, signature method, this is all in mod 2 of the Academy, where we start to build the package. And the carrot dangle, you guys can think of that as, and Kristen described this very well, but it's one powerful coaching session on a specific urgent problem, that kind of blanket statement all of your ideal client avatars share. So you don't have to make it different each time. So if you guys think about what you learned in this workshop with taking a complimentary coaching call and transitioning that to a client, the carrot dangle is kind of like a step up from that. And you can charge for the carrot dangle. And you can use marketing for the carrot dangle. You can use coupons. So that is something I teach in the Academy. And the cool thing statistically, metrics wise, and it depends on the person and the niche, but typically it's a 50% close rate, where somebody purchases a carrot dangle, a powerful solve this urgent problem coaching session, 50% of those people will end up buying the package. We've seen from a metric standpoint. So to Kristen's point, it's powerful. And I love what Kristen said about, making Facebook work for her, because, here's what I want to say too about social media. I mean, I'm a lunatic. I love social media. So I'm like, woo, social media. But I totally understand that not everybody's like that, right? Some people are like, no, I'm here to coach, not to be online all the time. So, to Kristen's point, it's not a cookie cutter, like you guys have to do exactly this on social media or nothing will work for you. We can customize it and make it work for you in a way that feels authentic to you. Right? That's the idea. When it comes to social media, there are many ways to approach social media. And yeah, I love what you said, Kristen, about the signature method and the package deliverables. And I think this is something people often overlook. It's not just, oh, I have to have a package built. The confidence when and you're talking to somebody, not just this is my niche, but this is the journey I take people on. And when you share the price, the value of what you're sharing.
Huge.
Yeah, absolutely. So really great points. Now you joined us in the Corporate to Six Figure Coach Academy. And I know a lot of people are kind of starting to realize, I need support to build a business. I can't do this, in a bubble by myself. And there's options. There's options out there. What appealed to you about the Academy in particular, with all the other business coaching type of options out there?
The first is you and how you were showing up. Yes. And providing value. And I really resonated with what you were sharing. It made a lot of sense to me. I felt like I could apply it. And I felt like it was going to make a difference in my business pretty quickly. And I was stuck. Like I was trying to, even as an entrepreneur, having started business before, I was stuck and I couldn't get past this hump of figuring what I was supposed to be doing when and where to put the time and energy to get the most value. And who should I be talking? All of those things that were swirling in my head. And I got I came to your free trainings and I was watching what you were doing and I really liked the content. And I thought, if this is what she's doing for free, I can't wait to see what's behind the curtain once I make the commitment and the investment. And I knew for me, it was a big investment. And I also knew if I'm doing this, I'm showing up 100%. I'm giving it my all for the year. And I'm going to do everything that she asked me to do. I don't care how uncomfortable it is, but
And
I
you
had to
did.
be willing to do that work. And knowing that the content was there, and also for me having one-on-one time as an option was a game changer, because I'd been in other group programs and because they were big and I
Yeah.
felt kind of lost, I didn't feel like what I needed personally was getting addressed. And like the social media piece was a perfect example of that, and being able to work through that with you on a one-on-one, and then also be able to show up to the group calls.
Yeah.
And the group is a small enough community. It feels like a community. And I have three of my best friends. We still meet, that we met in
I
the
love
group
it.
every week. And we have flown to Florida together, and we're going to be flying to Boston, the four of us, to meet up in July.
So
So
much.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's just so many things to get out of the program.
Yeah.
And you teach us how to fish. Like, you didn't just say do this and then so now I have tools and resources that I will use in my business and with my clients for as long as I'm in coaching. You don't just do things for you, teach us how to do it for ourselves, which is huge.
Yeah, I actually never thought about that, but you're right. There are different ways that people will business coach. I've had a different business coaches throughout my, career as well. And yeah, there is a difference between the ones that are like, yeah, just do this, and the ones that are like, I'm teach you how to fish. So that,
Yep.
because my goal is, I mean, of course I have clients that stay with me year after year, but my goal is that you can fly, like you can get out there and do the thing because you have all the know-how, and you have the why
Yeah.
behind why you're doing these things.
Yeah.
And I'd love to hear, a lot of people say that the network is one of the best parts about, the close-knit group, the mastermind. I love that you guys are still close. And I mean, I think it's really true that the humans you surround yourself with, especially when you're building a business. I mean, I don't want to be dramatic about it, but it's very important to surround yourself with the right people when you're
Mhm.
building a business. I just
Yeah.
can't, you can't do it in a bubble. It's just, it's too much on that. And yeah, you're right. I've been a part of business programs too, where I sign up and I'm thinking I'm going to see this coach because she was on all the whatever. And then it's
Mhm.
like, there's like hundreds of people in the group. And
Yeah.
I'm like, where is she?
Yeah.
And it's like, does she even know who I am?
Right.
We do keep the group tight. We do keep the group tight. We have a limit of how many people we accept in both the group and the one-on-one. So every one of my clients, whether they're group or one-on-one, we're close with.
And can I add one more thing to that?
Please. Yeah.
So what I would love for all of you to hear about this, because I mean, I've done enough of it to know when in the group calls, Betty has stayed on until anybody gets their questions answered. And that can mean like a 2.5 hour meeting. There were a couple of them where we went through a really intense training topic. We had a lot of questions, and then she stayed until everybody got what they needed out of the call. And I do not know very many coaches that A, are the ones that show up for those kinds of calls every week, and B, that will stay until everybody gets their questions answered and they feel cared for and supported in the process. So
Thank you.
that's huge.
Sometimes I feel guilty about that for you guys, because I'm like, you guys are like troopers. You're here 2.5 hours. Because for me, it's fun. I'm like, woo,
Yeah.
because it's my niche. You know how it is. But thank you for saying that. I want to get to a couple more questions in the chat before we let you off, because you've been here with us for a hot minute. You've kind of talked about it, but is there anything else as far as the most valuable elements of the academy that you're like, ooh, when you think of like either the modules or the deliverables, that you're like, that was a really valuable piece of it to me?
Definitely, like I'm in the library itself, like having all of those resources and tools is invaluable. And definitely the way that you lay everything out so that I could print things out and I could go back to them. I mean, I have a huge binder, looking at it right now, Academy contents, and it's thick and it's full of all of the modules. And so I go back to those and I reflect on them. So that just having that resource, so I don't have to recreate the wheel. A great example for the specific is my onboarding process. So my clients get this document. It's an onboarding document. It has links to a whole bunch of different things and resources, and it took a while to create, but it didn't take that long because I went off of the document that you provided
Good.
and shared with us in the, so, and it's just things like that. Like I don't have to figure this all out by myself. I'm not alone in this. And you were accessible and there to answer the questions. And I think that was, I mean, it was huge to not feel alone and to have all of those tools and resources at any level in the business. And what was a little bit different about me is I came into this with some background and experience. I had a website, I had some content, but you were able to meet me where I was and work with where I wanted to go and go through the process and have that flexibility throughout the entire program. And that was huge to me.
Yeah, thank you for saying all of that. And yeah, I mean, the On-Demand Learning Center was an undertaking to put together for sure. But yeah, I love it that you guys have that immediately at your fingertips. Immediately at you have a sales call coming up, you're like, okay, mod 5. Like no matter what's going on, it's there. You guys know I'm a script person. I got a template for everything. It's a dynamic program. I'm continuously adding to it based on what people say they want, right? I'm like, oh, good idea. Let me go out and add that. And then, yeah, and then we customize it to you. Every single coaching call, every single client is different. Before I go finish off with a couple more questions in the chat, any advice, Kristen, for people who are on the fence, right? Who are on the fence as far as they're not sure, should I book the discovery call? If I have the discovery call, should I join the Corporate to Six-Figure Coach Academy? Maybe they're even scared to make that investment in themselves or their business. Any advice? Because everybody goes through that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember asking myself the same question. So here's
Yeah.
what I will say to that. I will say, I think everybody should book a discovery call. If you're at day 5, which is, this is day 5, right?
Yeah.
And you've been showing up and you've been getting value out of what you've been hearing, my advice is book the call and learn more about whether or not it's a good fit for you, and ask the questions and think about what's important to you and what drives you and maybe what your challenges are or where you think some of your roadblocks would be, and talk about those in the session and figure out if it makes sense. Because half of the challenge in getting these businesses going, and particularly online businesses and in coaching, is just making the commitment to do it. And then showing up and doing the work, even when it's uncomfortable. But that's what we ask of our clients anyway. So
Yeah.
we need to do the same things in our businesses that we're asking our clients to do, regardless of what they're coaching on. So that's probably my biggest piece of advice, is book that call. And I don't know who's getting the full focus planner tonight, but that's gold right there. That
I knew
I
you'd
live with
love that.
those.
Yeah.
They're
I
so
love it.
awesome.
Yeah.
And then what else would I say? Be coachable and believe in yourself and your ability, and surround yourself in this community with the people that are supporting and holding the space and the vision for what you think is possible and what they think is possible for you. Just because sometimes we have to write on somebody else's belief in order to get us to the same
I
belief.
love that.
But this is a
that.
group of people where you can do that with and get that support. And it's not that common because of the way that Betty creates the container and the size of the container and how manageable that is. So
Yeah.
that's what I would say, is just make the call, book the discovery call, and then go from there and be honest with yourself and explore, and know that there's all the tools and resources and support that you need to get the business going and be successful.
Thank you for that. And yeah, I like how you say it's like, coaches need coaches.
Oh,
we gotta walk the talk. It'd be weird if we didn't.
Yeah.
I would never be caught without a coach. I think that would be risky
Mhm.
for my business. I chuckle because, Ryan, my significant other, he was in fitness for 2 decades, and he, you know, we always have these analogies, these coaching analogies. So when you said just make the commitment to do it, I was thinking it's kind of like going to the gym. Like you're like, oh, I don't want to go today. It's so early. I just don't want to go. And he used to just say, lace up and show up,
Yeah.
lace up. And because then when you're there, what are you going to do? You're here, you're going to do the work. So, and then last, just what you said, surrounding yourself with the right people is so important. Couple questions from the chat before we tell people how they can reach you. Carrie asked, when you say making Facebook work for you, did it include ads?
No, all organic marketing. Yes.
Nothing against ads, but you know, in the beginning,
yeah,
it's just, there's a lot of reasons, and we can get into that more in the rapid fire, but the answer, Carrie, is no. Maria asked, what is consistently? How many days can you miss before your metrics drop?
Well, I think
to you, what did consistently mean?
Consistently for me is 3 days a week. That's what I'm comfortable with, and I will commit to. The 5 days a week for me and what else I'm doing in my life and work-life balance, it's not reasonable. So I committed and settled in on 3, and that feels great to me.
Yeah. And Maria, that's kind of the cool thing when Kristen's talking about customizing things, you know, I post on social media. Well, I shouldn't even say I don't post on social media. My virtual assistant posts on social media 5 days a week. Kristen's committed to 3 days a week. She's still having amazing success. So when we talk about consistent, it's kind of the promise you make to yourself. There are metrics involved, but those metrics tend to be more around, in my opinion, outreach type of metrics. And again, that's a very deep subject. It's something I teach in the academy. It's, you know, the social seller would teach you that in the private call. But you know, consistently is just, it's kind of the promise you make to yourself is like, here's how often I'm going to show up and what I'm going to do. And then you partner with me or, you know, your business coach to say, hey, is this going to move the needle? So that's a good question. Carrie, being a new coach with limited experience, how do you portray confidence?
The thing that I tell people, and it's what happened for me is, first, I just made the decision that I'm a coach. And I know that sounds trite, but just making the decision that that's what I want to do and that's who I am and what I want to be doing with my career. When I made that shift in my own brain, it significantly changed how I showed up in any kind of space when people would ask me, so what is it that you do? And the second thing is getting really clear about what I was offering and the journey I was taking people on, that methodology that Betty walks you through, and talking about the outcome or the results that people were going to get. And so for people who are just starting out and they're not quite sure what those are yet, that's the value of having some of these free calls and doing this research that Betty's talked about, is you get to learn more and more about what people really need in the different areas that you're looking at. And if you're looking at general life coach, you can talk to a lot of different people. But if you're going into a specific niche, the more of those people you talk to, the more you'll learn about what they really need and where their challenges are and what they really want. And that can help you craft more of your message and gain more confidence around what you show up and talk about when people ask you what you do as a coach. It's huge.
So good. So good. Yeah, I love that. Just, it was a decision you made. I am a coach.
Yeah.
It's a choice. It's
Yeah.
a choice. And like Kristen said earlier, it's like, and it's so interesting because I know as coaches, we learn our beliefs lead to our thoughts lead to our feelings lead to our actions lead to our results. I think confidence is oddly one of the outliers where action often leads to confidence. So
Yes.
Sometimes it's okay to feel a little bit like, oh, but to take action, to do it anyway.
Yep.
And we'll be talking about that on, you'll remember, you know, Chris and I think Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. We'll be talking about that with this group on Tuesday. So stay tuned for that. But Kristen, thank you so much for your time. We so appreciate you sharing your journey. I am going to stay here and wrap up the session with everybody. But before you hop off, where can people find you if they want to learn more about you, or if they know somebody that could use your help, etc.?
Well, thank you. This has been so fun. Thank you for letting me be here with you all and to connect. Betty, you're amazing. I am so grateful
Ditto.
that I've gotten to know you and work with you. So I
Ditto.
appreciate this. This has been fun. So thank you. You can find me. My website is themomlaunch.com. I'm also on Facebook, which is Facebook The Mom Launch, and my full name on Facebook as well, Kristen Staver Reichard, which is not on my screen, but probably the best way is themomlaunch.com. Yeah.
Awesome. We love you, Kristen. All right, I'm going to stick
Love you
around to wrap it
too.
up with the group and announce the winner of the full focus planner. But I will be keeping in touch with you. You and I will
Yes.
touch base soon. So,
I can't wait.
all right.
Thanks, everybody.
All
Bye.
right, guys. So we'll wrap it up here. So good. If again, I hope I got to most people's questions. Anybody's questions who I didn't get to, we will make sure to cover tomorrow in the rapid fire Q&A. So, and Lisa, I think you had a couple comments in there. And I agree. Don't want to spend my rent money to pay. I don't want you to spend your rent money either. Don't spend your rent money. Don't do that. And yeah, you know, there are no guarantees. And I would tell you guys as coaches, never guarantee anything because there's too many variables out there. And the biggest variable is the client. The client is the biggest variable of all. But Lisa, there's still a lot we can answer for you and cover with you. And yeah, you know, and it's tough, isn't it? It's like on the one hand, it's like, you know, I need to invest, but on the other hand, it's like, you know, you got to make sure that it makes sense for you. So that's why we are, you know, we wait until you guys tell us that the timing's right for you. But yeah, join us tomorrow. And yeah, I mean, that's the kind of the idea, you know, Lisa. I have people joining the program kind of all across the board, you know, and some people want to do that cash injection right when they start. And so that kickoff call, if you're one of the first 5, we go down the cash injection path and we get going, we get the ball moving with cash injection. Some people are like, I'm good. We can, you know, take it at a slower rate. So we customize it to you guys, but you guys are the ones telling us if the timing is right. Right. Okay, so wrap it up with you guys tomorrow, Saturday Q&A. Any extra questions, drop them in the chat, drop them in the Facebook group, tell your workshop concierge, DM me, and we'll cover it all tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, Tabitha, if you could drop into the screen as I wrap it up with these guys, the link for the Corporate to Six Figure Coach Academy, where you guys can kind of check out everything that's included. And Tabitha, if you could please drop the link for people to book their discovery call. Like Kristen said, it's just better. I would like you guys to leave this workshop just knowing, being totally informed. You shouldn't leave the workshop like, should I have? Could I have? You know, it's anybody familiar with the Prosperous Coach? The Prosperous Coach, he talks about, you know, a hell yes or a hell no. Like better for you guys to, it doesn't serve you to be in the gray area. It serves you to get information and then to get a solid, this makes sense for me, whatever that is. And we support you on that. We're here to coach you to a decision that's right for you. You know, your timing is your timing. All right, so Tabitha dropped a couple links in there to book a call. Remind you guys that, again, as we have calls coming in being booked, it's until the first 5 people join the program that there's those first 5 bonuses are going to be available. It doesn't matter where you start, where you're starting. If you are in corporate and you haven't done anything with your coaching business yet, this is the program for you. A lot of my clients are starting from scratch. Some of my clients are coming in and they've already dabbled in coaching. That's fine too. Some of my clients are not in corporate, right? They're in some full-time work capacity, but you know, they're in a different type of job. So, you know, the program is naturally built for anybody to kind of come in and us to customize it to you. I'm super excited because I know some of you that are talking about joining the Academy, we're going to immediately schedule your private kickoff call with me. We're going to have the kickoff onboarding call next week. We'll be hitting the ground running. You guys have done such important work this week on your coaching business. A reminder, I want you to take this away. Your coaching business is so much bigger than you. And that's another way to build the confidence, right? It's not about us. It isn't about us. I mean, yes, this is fun. Yes, this is amazing. Yes, this is our passion, our calling, but it's really about them. It's about the people waiting out there to find us for us to help them. Your coaching business is so much bigger than you. And that's something I learned over time. And you will all learn that over time, but you have to take the actions towards that so people can find you. You have the potential to make a massive difference in other human beings' lives, to make a global impact. And it all starts here with the Academy. Right? When you guys join us, I'm handing you the keys to the kingdom. I'm challenging you to make that one empowered decision to change your business and life, to say yes to yourself, to say yes to your business, to say yes to your future, to say yes to your future clients and to your coaching business. We are waiting with open arms to welcome you into our family. This is hard work, right? I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's easy. It's, you know, but it's hard work that works, right? You have a guide, you have a blueprint, you have scripts, you have templates. You just need to, you know, I always like to have analogies. It's like we give you the red ruby slippers, like Wizard of Oz. You have to click them, right? You've got to actually do the work, but everything is waiting for you. The discovery call is a short exploratory call. Once we're on the call, we're determining, right? Are we a fit? It is an application-based program. And from there, we go over, here are the program options, here are the pricing options, right? This is an investment. For some of you, the investment will potentially force you to prioritize where you spend your money. I've gone through the same thing, hiring my own business coaches over time. I told you guys I'm never without a business coach because I find it risky to be without a business coach. I always want to have somebody I can go to when I have a question or when I need help or when there's a challenge. There were times for myself in the past where, you know, I had just started coaching and I decided that first year, you know, whatever, you know, I prioritized. I love a vacation. Let me tell you what, I love a spa. I love a vacation. And I said, I'm not doing the vacation this year. I'm not going to buy the upgraded car, fill in the blank. Whatever you know, I remember in corporate, I would do these spend my money on short-term pleasure and, you know, take the vacation, come back. And I'm like, here I am again, miserable. So, you know, I prioritized, here's where I'm going to put my money. I'm going to put my funds into an investment in myself and my business where I know I'm going to have an ROI versus, you know, a vacation. Now, don't worry. It's not like you're never going to take a vacation again or, you know, whatever. But yeah, when you're building a business that first year, there's, you know, you have to, you know, it depends the position you're in, but you may reprioritize, you know, what you're focused on. Once you're in the program, like Kristen was saying, you will use for life what you learn in this program for a sustainable business. And that's kind of the cool thing, right? It's not like, oh, okay, I was with Betty for a year. Now who do I find to help me? You use this stuff for life. Right? Kristen and Julie, who you guys are going to meet on Monday, who's having $30,000 months, you know, they were with me. And then afterwards, they used what they learned for life. This program is a one-stop shop. Again, real quick, before I announce the winner, you know, a couple people weren't on yesterday's call. The Academy is a one-stop shop. You don't have to go out and hire other people and buy other, you know, it's more expensive to a la carte get, you know, oh, I'm going to buy my website. I'm going to buy this thing here. I'm going to buy this program on marketing. I'm going to buy this program on sales. This is an all-in-one business incubator, right? I will be business coaching with you. You will be assigned a private success coach who will work with you on your 30-day goals so that you're tracking and implementing your 30-day goals and milestones. You'll have a copy coach who makes sure that every piece of copy, whether it's website copy, social media copy, whatever it is, you've got a copy coach. That's wild, who's going to go over all of your content, give you edits and reviews. And she's incredible. Also from IPAC, 15 plus years of copywriting. We have a mindset coach. So I know, some of you talking about like confidence and all these things. That's why I have a mindset coach in this program for you guys, right? So if you're afraid, like, oh, can I really get an ROI? Can I really sell it at this price? Can I really do this? Can I really do that? That's why she's in the program, right? So what's really cool, she's going to kick it off with a money mindset assessment. You're going to learn your sacred money archetype. And from there, she's going to be able to coach you on some of the stories you're telling yourself about money that's currently holding you back. It's a really cool process. Kristen was talking about some of the people in the program she's still lifelong friends with, and these come from usually your peer accountability pod. So we're going to pair you with a handful of Academy members who are where you're at in the program to deepen your mastery of business concepts and to hold each other accountable. Very important that you have people that are like, yes, did you do the thing you said you were going to do, holding you accountable. And then our in-person event in Tampa, Florida, which is going to be incredible. We'll be having it in St. Pete, Tampa area. You'll be able to network. I'll be hot seat coaching and teaching. Kristen mentioned also part of what was so helpful for her, the on-demand online learning center. So every single module 1, module 2, module 3, module 4, module 5 has multiple videos in every single module, right? So you get immediate access to that, and you have access to that the whole time. You get your very own website build, which is also wild. I've never seen another business coaching program that offers that. I worked with a web designer for a year, creating a website template that I felt would be converting people to booking calls and to getting on your email list. So I worked together with an incredible web designer. And you can opt in or opt out of that. That's up to you. And I'm not going to go over all this, but any kind of tool, template, graphic, whatever you need. Every time I'm like, oh, they need this. Oh, they need that. I create it. And then I put it in the on-demand learning center for you. Like Kristen said, you can work with me one-on-one or in the group. The group is intimate. I don't do a group with 100 people in it. It is intimate. Why? Because I want to be able to coach every person on every call. I don't like those coaching programs where you never get to speak to your coach. I think that's kind of unethical, to be honest with you. You get access to me in between coaching calls. I talked to you yesterday about how we're different. Part of this is my background in corporate communications. So I am very well versed in marketing, messaging, copy, communication, all of the things that it takes to have a successful coaching business and to inspire people to take action, to use your services. We talked about the tools. We talked about ditching the hustle. It's very important for me, since a lot of my clients are coming to me still in a job, that they don't have to sell 5, 6, 7 packages per month. You guys are busy, right? So depending on your financial goals, you all have different financial goals. I'm not going to tell you what your financial goals should be. You're going to tell me, and then I'm going to help you build packages around those financial goals in a way where you don't have to feel like you're in hustle mode, because that's a nightmare. The method, I won't go too deep down the rabbit hole. We talked about, mod 1, choosing the right niche. But it's more than that. It's messaging. If your messaging doesn't resonate, it doesn't matter that you've chosen a niche. So your message has to resonate with your market. We have to strategically position you amongst your competitors, right? That's important. And if you don't know what positioning is, right, all the more reason why mod 1 is going to be important for you. This is what I'm good at. I've created a competition matrix where we look at some of your key competitors and we position you strategically amongst them, where you have a unique value proposition that makes you stand out. And if you're like, I don't know what that is, That's why we do this. Part two, Kristen talked a lot about this, creating your package, the carrot dangle. She talked about the carrot dangle here. That's part of what we'll teach you to do. We'll teach you how to create double the value of the price ticket and your own unique signature method. The launch of your brand, again, very important. If you think launching your brand means build a website and post the website to Facebook, that is not a launch, my friends. That is not a launch. So I'm going to be building out with you a communication launch strategy to be getting your audience and your target market as involved and engaged and excited about the launch of your business as you are. If you've already launched, we're going to plan a relaunch. And this will also be all of the tools that goes into building your business. The client attraction system, all right, this is where we will customize it for you, but we'll also build the system. Part of it's automated, which is nice. Part of it can be delegated, and part of it's you, the coach, right? So we'll teach you what's what here, but it is a system. Keyword system. I think what I see a lot of coaches do is they're throwing spaghetti at the wall. Like, oh, Betty, I posted on social media. Why? Well, it's not just that. It's a lot more than that. And what are you posting? Are you posting the right stuff? Right? I'm going to give you a content marketing calendar. So this is going to be a big piece of what you learn. And last but not least, closing the deal, learning not just, sales. Nobody really is typically like, yay, sales. But what is important is that you learn to run a call with people in a way that feels authentic to you, in a way that feels authentic and natural. And you shouldn't be doing all the heavy lifting on the call. That should be what you're doing prior to the call. And that's a game changer. And it's something I'll teach you to do in Mod 5 here. Again, before we hop off here, people ask, what are the niches you work with? I've worked with leadership coaches, student athlete coaches, startup business coaches, burnout coaches, work-life balance coaches, leadership coaches, career coaches. We've got a relationship coach. And for those of you who were here yesterday, she's kind of a mixture of spirituality and relationship. She uses spirituality to help people improve their relationships. And she's one of the gals that was in your shoes, joined the academy, and then had a $13,500 month. So incredible story there. But that is my reminder to you all on what the academy is. But again, you really want to kind of get into the weeds on the discovery call, ask all your questions on the discovery call so you can get to know a little bit more about, is it for you? Is this what you're looking for? And are we a good fit, right? So really, really important. All right, so I am now going to announce the winner of the drawing of the Full Focus Planner. And the winner is... Cue fireworks. Jolie Conley. Jolie Conley. Let's give her some love in the chat. Jolie, you are getting a Full Focus Planner, my friend. And we will be sending that your way. We'll be sending you a little love note to get your address so we can send you the Full Focus Planner. So I leave you all with this before we hop off. 1, book your discovery call before Tuesday, because you have until Tuesday, not only to book your call, but to join the academy in order to be eligible for all 5 bonuses. So at minimum, book the call to learn what is this academy all about, right? Learn what are the package options, what are the pricing, etc. Number two, Saturday, tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm doing Q&A. So if you're like, she didn't answer my question yet, I'll be answering everybody's question tomorrow, Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Even if you don't have a question, come, because some of the best ways to learn are to hear other people's questions. And I'm happy to do any questions. I don't care what your question is. It could be your niche statement. That's fine. Last but not least, 2 more bonus sessions. Write this down. Monday and Tuesday, our final 2 sessions, they're bonus sessions. This has literally become a 9-day workshop. So take advantage of every single session. Everyone is different. Monday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. So when we get to the weekdays, it's back to evenings. I'm bringing in Julie, who is a coach who is now at $30,000 per month. And she's been, she started with me totally fresh, totally brand new. And now she's been coaching and she's killing it out there. So I want you guys to hear from her because it's just another perspective. You guys should hear multiple perspectives of what is working for people, what's not working for people. So bring your questions for Julie. And then the final day, I've been told, is one of the session favorites on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, how to master the mindset to transition into coaching. So how to get out of your head, how to feel confident, how to feel the fear and do it anyways, right? Because the best blueprint in the world ain't going to work without the headspace. So that's going to be a fun one. Make sure you hit us up on Tuesday as well. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a wonderful Friday night. And I'll catch you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard for rapid fire Q&A. Good night, everybody. And yes, don't forget about today's homework. Head over to the homework thread.